Incredible work. This was a huge step. You've gone from a simple formula to building a sophisticated, multi-product unit cost calculator. You now understand the critical difference your production volume makes, and you've learned how to fairly allocate fixed costs, which is a key skill in management accounting. Now, let's put it all together and build our final calculator for this module. Project 3, Building the Dynamic Multi-Product Unit Cost Calculator. This project will upgrade your simple calculator into a powerful tool. 1. Verify your inputs sheet. Make sure your inputs sheet now contains all the necessary tables we built in this module. TBL underscore vis underscore detail and TBL underscore prod underscore volume, in addition to your others. 2. Go to the unit cost sheet. You will now build the final calculator. It should have a single output, the cost per unit. 3. Link to product selection. The calculator must be driven by the product selection dropdown on your input sheet. You should have a cell that simply shows which product is currently selected. 4. Use XLOOKUP for variable costs. Write a formula to look up the total variable cost from the TBL underscore details table based on the selected product. 5. Calculate allocated fixed costs. Write a formula that does the following. A. Looks up the units produced for the selected product from TBL underscore prod underscore volume. B. Divides that by the total units produced to get the allocation percentage. C. Multiplies that percentage by the total fixed costs. 6. Calculate final unit cost. Combine the variable cost per unit with the allocated fixed cost per unit to get the final, accurate unit cost. When you're done, you'll be able to select any product from the drop-down on your input sheet, and the calculator on your unit cost sheet will instantly show you its true cost of production. This is a massive step forward in our financial model. Take your time with this project, and I'll see you in Module 4 where we'll use this unit cost to figure out our break-even point.
Okay, for this project, we need to refine all that we have done and create the unit cost. Having gotten the knowledge already, what we need to get our unit cost or cost per unit, we have already created all the tables here, the variable costs, the monthly production volume, and the monthly fixed cost, etc. All we are going to do is to fine-tune certain things in this place and certain things in the unit cost to be able to retrieve the unit cost per product whenever a product is selected. Now we are going to use the XLOOKUP function to do this. Here, the first thing I'm going to do is to fine-tune here. I'm going to change this thing here now. Now in my list, I'm going to remove this product that is here, or I will not select it. I'm going to add blueberry muffin, blueberry muffin. Oh, it's part of the products now. Okay, I'm going to change here this place now. I'm going to remove the clear all things that is here. So I will add I will insert a row so that this place I'm going to say select a product. Select a product. So here, click on the same format here. So you select a product. So the products list is going to be here now. So we go to data validation. Okay, we create a list where the source is going to be here. We are choosing from here to here. Okay, so well, this is not really necessary. Okay, so I can select a product from here. So I can select any of these products from here now. Let's increase the fonts there too. Let's use display and font 14. Okay, so when a product is selected, okay, now select a product. Let's use yellow to display here. Now when we go back to our unit cost here, now we'll change this to product selected. So let's use product selected here. Now here I'm going to change it to link to the product selected, so that when we select a product here, one thing is certain: we are going to get the product that is selected here. So we'll be able to see what is selected from here. Now let's take, for example, I select this and it will display here as the product selected. So we'll be able to know the product that is selected, that product we are working on, when we come down to the inputs, to the unit cost worksheet. Now, having done that, the next thing we need to do is to get all the information we need to calculate our variable cost. So what we are going to do now, some of these values changed because I shifted this thing, so it doesn't matter. So here what I'm going to do now is, we need the variable cost per unit, very important for us, for each of the product that is selected. Now we need the number of units produced for each of the products that is selected. Okay, so we will now use this, multiply by this to give us the total variable cost. So here we still have the equals this times this here. It still remains valid. That still remains valid. Okay, so here I can just decide to create the fixed cost allocation, but I don't want it to be so complex for you to understand. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create something here. I'm going to call this going to be fixed costs. So let me choose this as the heading for here, fixed costs. So this off. Okay, here I'm going to say percentage allocation, percent allocation. So we retrieve the allocated percent, and then we have total fixed cost here. So we get the total fixed cost here. What again is needed? So from there we'll now be able to get the fixed cost allocation. Fixed cost allocation. Okay, so this will give us the fixed cost allocation. Okay, fixed cost allocation. So when we have the fixed cost allocation, which is going to be this percentage multiplied by the total fixed cost. So here is going to be equals this percentage times here. So this is going to give us the fixed cost allocation. So We are not done yet. We are going to also, let me insert another row here. We are going to also create something else here. We are going to now get the total costs. So here we have total costs. So this is where our total cost is going to be. So I'm going to remove this. So here no field. So this is where the total cost is going to be. Here, the total cost is going to be here. So I'm going to add a border here too. Okay, so the total cost actually is the total variable cost plus the fixed cost allocation. So here is going to be equals here plus fixed cost allocation. So this is going to give us what we need. Now, by the time we finish this calculation, we are going to remove all these ones. We don't need them here. We don't need them here. But meanwhile, we can just use it to understand what we are doing. So here, take note, each of the products selected is going to appear here so that you know the product you are working with. So we will now retrieve the variable cost per unit. We will now retrieve the units produced. Then we add this up, already is here, multiply it to give us the total variable cost. Then we retrieve the allocation percent. We retrieve the total fixed cost and we multiply it to give us the fixed cost allocation. Okay, so that makes everything very easy instead of using complicated formula. So what we are going to do now is to start retrieving the information. So for the first one, we are going to use X lookup. So here I'm going to say equals X lookup. Now you are going to look up the value here. What is selected? Remember, what is selected here is what appears here is what is selected from this place. So when we look at what is selected, the first thing we are looking at here is the variable cost per unit. So we'll go to the variable cost table. So we'll look at the variable cost table. We are looking at the product selected. So the variable cost table is this. So we will look at the product selected in the variable cost table. Then we put comma. Then we will retrieve the value of the total variable cost, which is here. So we are retrieving a value for the product selected. So if sourdough loaf is selected, the value 1455 will be retrieved. So we close the parenthesis and press enter. So here you notice pastries is selected here. So the variable cost per unit here is pastries, that is 1150 naira. Now if we go here to select I think there is a product that is not here. I have donuts here instead of okay, sorry, let me go change this list here. This place is supposed to be sourdough loaf. This place is supposed to be pastries. This place is supposed to be cakes, that is packaged cake. Okay, so this place is supposed to be blueberry muffin. Okay, I think that's correct now. So here we have the sourdough loaf, assuming that's what is selected here now. Okay, look at this place. So sourdough loaf is selected here. Now, oh, you notice that because what we have here is different from what is there, classic sourdough loaf is what is there. So I'm going to change this. That's why it's good to retrieve from. So it's now corrected. So that's sourdough loaf. One problem with this thing is if the information is wrong, everything will be wrong. So sourdough loaf, I think this should be correct now. Pastries, packaged cake, blueberry muffin. I think this blueberry muffin also. I think this is double F. Is it correct? Okay. Okay, so sourdough loaf is selected here. Let's see. The thing here is still not seeing sourdough loaf as a product. What I'm going to do is very simple. To correct this, what I'm going to do is to use the input values here. Okay, sorry, look at where the thing is that I didn't correct. Sourdough loaf. Okay, pastries, I think it's correct now. Okay, so okay, it has been picked up, so it's corrected now. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now, each of them that is selected here will display the input value there. So here we also do the same thing for number of units produced. So we have equals X lookup. We are looking up value that is selected here. Then we go for the lookup value. This we are looking at number of units produced. So we will look at the volume, monthly production volume. So we look at the products, then comma, then you give us the volume produced and that product. We enclose the brackets and that's it. So here now automatically we've gotten the total variable cost, which is this multiplied by this. So for the fixed cost allocation, here we are going to change the formula here to equals X lookup. So it's going to look up this value too. Then we are looking at the allocation percent, which is also in the monthly volume, production volume. So you look up for the product that is selected for me and give me the percent allocation for that product. Okay, so this is the percent allocation there given to me. So I'm going to this is going to be in percent. Okay, so here you are going to retrieve equals sum of the fixed costs. Sum of the fixed costs. So that's what you are going to give me. Now this is the percent allocation. So for this particular product now, we have 590 naira, 590 naira, 590,909.9. So that's exactly the correct answer here. Now we have the total cost, which is this. Then we now need the total the unit cost, the cost per unit, costs per unit, or the unit cost, which is the main thing we are looking for. So here I'm going to kind of widen this place a little. So I'm going to use okay, also put this border, but we're going to make it the down to be thicker. Okay, so here the cost per unit particularly is going to be total cost divided by units produced. So this is going to be equals this place divided by units produced by this place. So this is it. Now you notice that the cost per unit is quite lower than the previous cost per unit when we allocated the entire fixed cost to sourdough loaf. Now we've gotten the whole thing here now. So what we need to do is to get the information. This is just the particular information we are looking for. The particular information we are looking for, this is it. Okay, we are reducing this to 2 decimal places, and this is even in naira, so we are supposed to add currency to it. Okay, that notwithstanding, so here is this. So what we, if we change the product, notice that if I change this to blueberry muffin, I want to be sure that everything is in order, then the cost per unit is 1,545. Now notice this, 1 million, the allocated fixed cost allocation is 295,400, and so let's check if it's correct here. 295,400, and so it's correct here. So let's change the inputs to, let's use pastries. Okay, pastries 443181. So everything is in place. Then finally, the one we have not selected is packaged cake. Let's see if the thing is still in order too. Okay, packaged cake is in order. Okay, so that's it. So we don't need here. So we clear this off. If peradventure all we need is just the, we don't need you to get all these calculations, so I can actually say, okay, let's hide everything here. Let's hide everything here. So you can go here and hide rows. Okay, so that's it. So depending on the products you select, we'll have the cost per unit or the unit cost of each of the products. Correct. Now the information will change when any of the inputs changes. Let's take for example the products produced here reduced in the next month to 1,850, while that of packaged cake increased to 2,050. Now you notice that things will change here too. So the unit cost has changed a bit here. That of packaged cake, have also changed. Okay, so that is it. That's how you get the calculation. Quite easy. If you have any question, just put it down in the comment section.